Day 6 of Ravens OTAs just wrapped up. We had another big day from Tez Walker. Malaki Starks got an interception. Nate Wiggins got an interception. We'll go through all the practice notes. We also hear from John Harbaugh, Keaton Mitchell, and Nate Wiggins. We're covering all that and more in today's episode of the Flock Rundown.
Ravens Flock. The Flock Rundown is the place to be.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Happy Purple Friday. I know it's not the regular season, but I wanted to throw on a jersey. Nate Wiggins had a big day today, so throw on the Nate Wiggins jersey. But yeah, let's get into OTAs. Day 6 just wrapped up. There were some absences again, including Lamar Jackson, so we'll go through who was not there, but there was still strong attendance. But the guys that weren't there, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Linderbaum, Odafe Owe, Kyle Hamilton, Nnamdi Madubuike, Kyle Van Noy, and Jake Hummel. Also, Anthony Miller and Rasheen Ali. Harbaugh did comment that Jake Hummel has not been at the OTAs because he just had a baby boy. So congrats to Jake Hummel. I was wondering why he wasn't there. I was like, that's kind of a weird addition to not be there because he's playing for a roster spot. I mean, I guess they're going to keep him on the active roster as a special teams ace, but he's definitely competing for some playing time on the field on defense as a linebacker. So I was like, man, that's kind of weird. You go to a new team and you're not there right away. But this explains it. He just had a kid, so I think that's a pretty good excuse to not be at the first, week or two of OTAs. There's plenty of time. Mandatory minicamp is coming up in the next 2 weeks. I'm sure we'll see everybody there. But let's get into what happened at practice today. So offense struggled a little bit with Cooper Rush and Devin Leary leading the way. Malaki Starks picked off Cooper Rush on a pass intended for Mark Andrews, and that came after two other end zone passes to Andrews sailed over his head. Andrews did not look amused. Awesome to see Malaki Starks getting involved, making plays, though. Devin Leary was also picked off a couple times, once by Nate Wiggins and once by undrafted rookie Ruben Lowry, which is his second day in a row of having an interception, by the way. And this one would have been an 85-yard pick six. Someone who did shine on offense, though, was Tez Walker. He caught a 25-yard touchdown pass in the corner of the end zone. Walker did a nice job adjusting to the ball in the air. Leary also found Keith Kirkwood wide open in the end zone in a red zone period after TJ Tampa seemed to get twisted around. Tampa earned a chat with Harbaugh at one point. And then Tyler Loop had a great day. He was 6 for 6 today, all right down the middle according to Harbaugh, and he hit a 60-yarder comfortably. It's great to see the top rookies making plays early. Malaki Starks is going to be playing a very important role for the Ravens, and it's awesome to see him already starting to make plays. We heard last week that he wasn't messing up at all, but wasn't like flashing and making plays. And then look, today already he's picking off Cooper Rush. And I think we're just getting started, man. Malaki Starks is going to play a big role for this defense, as Mike Green will too. Mike Green, it's hard to judge pass rushers at OTAs because there's not much contact. There's no pads. You just can't get a good feel of the offensive line, defensive line, pass rushers, and whatnot. But Mike Green so far has also looked incredible, though, even just going through drills, his explosiveness, his mental game, his pass rush moves. And this clip was from yesterday, but Zach Orr is also very high on Mike Green.
I see a guy who comes out here and works, but from a physical standpoint, I mean, his get-off is real, and he understands the level of the quarterback, man. So I think he's going to be a real valuable piece for us. He's strong, he's explosive, he can rush on the outside and he can rush on the inside. So one thing we always say, you can never have enough rushers, man, and he's going to add to that room, and it's going to be a great valuable piece for us. But I'm happy with Mike. I think that he's doing a good job with what he can do right now, given the restrictions with the pads and everything. But I think training camp and preseason, you guys will really start to see what abilities he really has.
Another interesting story throughout OTAs in this offseason has been the kicking competition, or just, who's going to end up being the Ravens kicker. It seems like Tyler Loop has a pretty big lead right now. We'll still have a lot of the offseason left to see how this plays out, but John Hoyland struggled yesterday, missed 3 field goals, and from what we hear, Loop's just perfect every day. Right down the middle. He has a big leg. He's kicking 60-yarders easily, according to Harbaugh. and they drafted Tyler Loop. So that gives him a big edge already. I know it's a 6th-round pick. It's not a huge deal, but you would assume the 6th-round pick has an edge over the undrafted guy. And then on top of that, Loop's perfect every single practice, and we got John Hoyland struggling a little bit. So I think Loop is comfortably in the driver's seat to be the Ravens' starting kicker. We'll see if they end up bringing in a veteran at some point throughout this offseason. Still a lot of veteran kickers out there, but I think as it stands now, Tyler Loop is going to be the Ravens' kicker this year. We heard from Keaton Mitchell today, and he said that he will be the Ravens' kick returner and wants to be a Devin Hester type of guy for the Ravens this year.
Talk to you about a kick return role. Is that something
yeah,
you'd
for sure.
embrace?
I'm definitely doing that, especially since if it's a touchback, it'll go to the 35. So I'm pretty sure teams will put it in play, and I want to be the one to return the kickoff returns and being able to be like a Devin Hester, like a don't kick it to that type of guy.
I was curious about the returner situation because we drafted LeJontay Wester. I know he's in the lead to be the Ravens starting punt returner. That's what he has a lot of experience in. But I was wondering, like, who's going to be the Ravens kick returner, because it is more important than ever, as Keaton said in that clip. The ball gets started at the 35-yard line on any touchback now, so no team is going to want to kick the ball in the end zone. And it seems like Keaton Mitchell is going to be the guy at kick returner. I would assume LeJontay Wester is then our punt returner, and Keaton Mitchell's also probably going to be involved in the run game too. But being the Ravens kick returner does put him at more risk, but also gives him more opportunity. You know, with Justice Hill in front of him, maybe Keaton is like, all right, yeah, I'd love to be involved in the running game, but also if I could be the guy at kick returner and, you know, run 1 or 2 back this season, that's also making a massive impact for the team. So I think he's just trying to get out there and get on the field as much as possible. And he is a dynamic kick returner. We've seen Keaton Mitchell do well returning some kicks. So I'm excited about it. You know, it makes me a little nervous, I guess, that you're taking that kind of beating consistently on kick returns and then also trying to be involved in the run game. I want Keaton to stay healthy, but I also want him out there on the field, and this is a better way to get him out there on the field more often. He also said he's feeling better than ever and just recently ran his fastest speed. So his previous record before the injury was 22.2 miles per hour, and then a few weeks ago he hit 22.4 miles per hour, which really just proves that he's back to full speed.
First got here, I ran like 22.2, so I just hit 22.4 a couple weeks ago, so definitely feeling good, back to myself. So.
After that crazy injury, he's back, feeling great. He talked about last year when he came back, he still wasn't himself, really mentally just not trusting it, which you hear that from a lot of guys that come back from injuries. It's not that their body hasn't healed, it's that they aren't cutting with the same aggressiveness. They don't have the same burst because they don't trust their knee. So I think he was dealing with that towards the end of last season. That's why he wasn't heavily involved, and we're going to see a lot of Keaton Mitchell this year. Nate Wiggins also spoke to the media and said he put on 10 pounds. He's officially 185, and 10 pounds of muscle, by the way, not bad weight. And he said that he just wanted to get a little bit stronger, which I think that's like a perfect weight for him. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want Nate Wiggins to be too big because then he's going to lose some speed. But you wanted him to put just a little bit on so that he can, you know, withstand some of that more physical contact and not have those shoulder injuries or take quite a bit of a beating, because there's a lot of dudes out there that weigh way more than 175, 185. So that does wear you down. There's no doubt about it. But we need Nate Wiggins to maintain that speed. So I think this is a great balance, being at like 185, putting on 10 pounds, adding a little bit of muscle, but also still being Nate Wiggins and going out there and being able, you know, one of the fastest guys on the field.
I gained like 10 pounds. I'm a lot stronger, a lot bigger. So, yeah, man. 185.
What motivated you to want to focus on adding weight?
Really just, I mean, I was just getting a lot, like injury was my big thing last year, or just hitting the ground, or like my shoulders hitting the ground, body couldn't absorb the contact. So really was just, getting my body to physically take the contact. And
You saw him today, right? When you have a pick and a key breakup in a critical situation, expect him to be locked in and focused on the little things, you know. Raindrops make oceans, man. Locked in on every little detail to be great, and that's what he's focusing on.
Nate Wiggins also said that he can't wait to pick off Aaron Rodgers, who is now officially on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great to get a pick on A-Rod, man, probably a Hall of Fame quarterback. I mean, it's great facing him. I mean, yeah.
I can't wait for this season, man. We're one day closer, and we just finished day 6 of OTAs. We got 4 practices left. They're all next week, and then we'll have mandatory minicamp right after that, and then there's a month-ish break before training camp. So a couple more weeks of a lot of these practices and a lot going on. Mandatory minicamp is extra exciting, too, because that will force all the veterans to be there. So we will see Lamar there every day. And we'll get a true look at everyone. Right now, there's still strong attendance. I don't think it's bad attendance by any means, but it does take the energy out of the OTAs a little bit when a guy like Lamar Jackson's not there, but it's all good. It's OTAs. It's voluntary. No one needs to be there. So we'll see everyone at mandatory minicamp. But that's it for today, guys. Let me know what you're thinking about everything that we talked about. Appreciate you guys, as always, for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And I'll let the greatest linebacker in the history of the game take us out.
Ravens Flock. The Flock Rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. The Flock Rundown. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.